Run, party, repeat. Welcome to the East Coast Adventures Dirt and Vert Podcast, where we talk all things running, racing, and training to help you get ready for your next big adventure.
Learn from our successes and our failures, and have fun at the same time. Join us right here every week with inspiring guests who share their captivating tales from the trails. And remember, nobody cares.
Run faster. All right. Welcome back to the Dirt and Vert Podcast. I'm David.
And I'm Matt.
And we have Kayla Fitzgerald with us, the race director from Palmetto Ultras. And we're going to get to learn all about Kayla today. I was looking, we were stalking her ultra sign up earlier just to see what all she's done. And there's quite a few races on there, Kayla. I'm quite impressed.
There's nothing that impressive, I don't think, but I like to run a lot of stuff.
Well, I think it's really good when you have a race director that runs.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think, that does help. That, doesn't necessarily always mean much. Sometimes it doesn't matter. Sometimes races are just different.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I have learned that, like, if you're an ultra runner and you put on races, you generally have a good idea of where to put aid stations, how to mark a trail. People don't get lost as easy. Everybody still gets lost. I don't care how well you mark a trail. Learn that. But, it's the little things that you really notice. And I think it makes such a big difference. And, it's good to see that. I mean, you've got 25 races already on your ultra sign up. So, I mean, that's quite a few. But Kayla, tell us a little bit about who you are and how you got into running.
So I hated running growing up. I did track and field one season in high school, and I actually sat in my car and waited till they ran the warm-up laps, and then I went out because I just threw javelin. So I was like, I don't need to run all these laps. So I avoided it like the plague, and then became a grown-up and had some kids and was like, I need to get out of this house a little bit. So I wasn't really into the gym scene that much. And, trying to figure out, well, when is a good time to go and who's watching the kids while I try to go to the gym and my husband's at work. So I was like, well, running seems free, right? Rookie mistake. And so I just kind of started running in my neighborhood. And I was like, I just want to do one 5K and then I'm out, right? And so I did that one 5K, and obviously I'm not out. I'm still very much in. So yeah, I mean, it all just started with really just wanting that alone time as a new parent, just to do something that was kind of selfishly just for me, because, when you become a parent, your whole life is now revolving around someone else. So that's kind of where it started. And I kind of gradually built my way up, 5K, 10K, half marathon. Had a really terrible first marathon. And for some reason, my friend was like, we should do an ultra. And I was like, well, this sucked. So why not see how much this other thing sucks? So did that. And I actually had a running coach at the time who had me not train on trails at all. Like, he's like, you're fine. And I was like, are you sure? Because this seems like it might be different. And I live here in Charleston, South Carolina, and this race was in Ohio. So not flat, like it is here. And I just remember getting out of my car and being like, what are these sticks that people are carrying? Like, I had no idea what a trekking pole was. I was in road shoes, like, I was that idiot that you see at a trail race and you're like, oh man, this person's got like fresh white kicks on. Like, they have no idea. And I loved it. Like, that day completely just changed everything for me with running. My friend was like, oh my God, when is this going to be over? And I'm like, I don't want to leave. I want to stay out here like even longer, even though I think we were some of the last people to finish. I just loved being out there. I mean, how can you not love just wandering around the woods eating candy all day and having no responsibilities other than eating candy and not getting lost? So that's kind of how I started and then got into ultras.
So was that running with my Nomies?
Yes.
50K? Yes.
Yeah. I guess my first actual ultra was like on the streets around my house. Cause of course I signed up during COVID times for an ultra up in Virginia, and it got canceled. And I was like, I did not do all this training for nothing. So I just made a route and then had like friends and family stop and give me snacks and water along the way. But yeah, running with my Nomies was the first official one. So
love it.
That's a pretty cool name.
That's officially when we started race directing. We picked the best time ever.
Yeah, that was
finally got our permit approved to get it delayed.
Oh man.
I was like, oh well, I guess we're learning all about it this year.
Right?
And that's when I started running ultras. Was that you?
I think a lot of
you
people
and Kayla started running at the same time.
We did.
Love it.
Did.
That's how we actually met Matt.
Yep.
Cool.
So you started with a selfish 5K.
Yep.
And what were you training for this? Like, did you like set out to like start running weekly, or did you just be like, it's a 5K?
Just 5K.
No, I was training. I probably had like one of those plans from the internet, like Couch to 5K or something like that. I'm sure that's what I did. It took me a solid couple months to even run a mile without stopping, because when you first get started, it super sucks. And like running just a couple miles, at least to me at this point, I hate the first couple miles. Like it's not fun. Everything kind of hurts. It's really not until you get those first few behind you that you're like, all right, I can settle into this all day. But at that point, I had no clue that was a thing. And so I remember the day like being in my neighborhood and just being like, why are you stopping all the time? What do you honestly think is going to happen, right? You're young. You're probably not going to have a heart attack. Your legs aren't going to fall off. Just push through it and see what happens. And so I forced myself to do a continuous mile. And I just remember being like, oh, like why did I make such a big deal out of this? So yeah, had a little bit of a training plan, learned pretty early on that the mental game was a much bigger component than I ever would have imagined too.
Yeah. Well, how was this COVID 50K? I bet that was a learning curve by yourself.
Yeah, it honestly is probably one of my favorite races that isn't really a race, just because I had like aid stations at friends and families' houses. My family met me along the way, and then when I finished back at my house, there's a video of me and I stop right when I get to the driveway, and I didn't even realize there were like 20 people in my front yard and that they had made this big makeshift finish line for me to run into. I was just so happy to be done that I was just in my own little world. And I had no idea everybody was over there, and it was just cool. My kids were super young. Like they bought a tiara as like my finisher's medal or whatever, and everybody was there. Cool. And it was really cool. It's probably one of my favorite running pictures. My daughter's like running through this little finish line with me, and it was just cool, to be like, hey, even though things didn't work out, this race didn't happen, like you can still go out there and do it, It doesn't matter.
Were there any moments?
I really don't think so. I remember feeling really good. My good friend Haley came up and she actually rode her bike with me for part of the way. So that was really nice. So I did have company for probably about half of it. And we did it, I want to say it was in the spring. So weather wasn't super hot and humid yet. Yep. Fueling went really well. Yeah, it was a great day.
Well,
I would love to do it again.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool when you can do it by yourself and nothing like goes terribly wrong, and you do what you said you were going to do,
right? Especially for the first one.
I was going to say it's easy to quit when you're right there at your house.
Yeah, no, I did 15. I'm good today.
Right? And it's you're like, it's not on Ultra sign up and nobody knows. So
it don't count.
So you obviously got hooked then, and you went and did running with my Nomies in Ohio and showed up with road shoes for a trail race. I love that. You're not the only one that's ever done that, so don't feel bad. But then you sign up for a really, I'm pretty sure this is a pretty hard 50 miler, but you did H3?
Yes. Yep. That was my first 50 miler.
Was that an uh-oh moment?
That, I don't think there are any big uh-ohs in that one. The weather was actually really nice that year. That trail is notorious for having a lot of water, like at the last 4 miles. Like I'm talking, I've been in it when it's been above my knees for like miles. So combine that with January weather, which again, we're Charleston, South Carolina, so it's not always that cold, comparatively speaking, but it was actually a fairly dry year. So it was just kind of like normal mud puddles. And I had a good friend out there who did the last lap with me. But yeah, that was still, I feel like, very early on in my ultra running career, we'll call it. So I think I was still just like, this is super fun and nothing's going to go wrong. And just having fun with it and just kind of oblivious to some of the stuff that happens when you go even further at that point.
Is this the first race that you've done of what now is Palmetto Ultras?
That one, I can't remember. I don't have it pulled up. I don't know if y'all do. I can't remember if I did Last Chance 50K before that. So that would have been the first one.
Okay.
That would then become a Palmetto Ultras race that I did.
Okay.
Yep.
So is that how you met the race director there and just in your backyard pretty much?
Yeah, yep. Once I did that race in Ohio, I was like, oh, I bet they do these things by me too. So I started looking into it, and that was pretty much it. So Eagle Endurance was the company that put them on before I took over. And yeah, in Charleston, that's pretty much about it for ultras. There's some shorter trail runs, like at some of the county parks and whatnot. But for ultras, I mean, really between here and I don't even know what the next closest one would be. Probably down in Savannah, like with some rough runners races. So I started doing all of his races. And we became close. We became good friends. And, you know, it's a small community. When you think of Charleston, I don't think a ton of people think trail running. So it's not like there were a lot of us out there. So definitely just kind of immersed myself into the community and the races and started doing all of them.
Well, that's cool.
So what was your favorite race that you've done so far? Like of all of your races, what's your favorite one?
Probably Barkley Fall Classic. That's
good choice.
One I hate to love.
That's definitely a good
Tennessee race. Good Tennessee race.
I am usually not a repeat runner of races. And even this year, I was like, I'm done. This is it. And then guess what I'm doing in 2026? Barkley Fall Classic. So I can't stay away.
So you've tried it 3 years, is that correct?
Yep. Barkley 3, Kayla 0 is the score. If you're wondering.
I'm 1-0, and I never went back. So I finished it. I finished it, and I just kind of like stopped. I think I retired.
I feel like that's good. Yeah, like you don't need, if you finished it, you're good. You don't need to go back and do it again.
It was funny when I got to the 25-ish miles or so. Laz is always there before they really start finishing for the marathon. You know, if you want to take the marathon. And he just looked at me and he said, you can be first place right now. All you got to do is make a left. I said, man, I don't know. That's a tough decision, but no. I said, I have not come this far to take the shortcut. He's like, but you could be first. Yeah. It was so funny. It was just typical Laz trying to talk you, you know, like giving you the choice, not trying to talk you into it, but he's like, you could be first.
He's good at the mind games for sure. That's his specialty.
Well, I love it. I love that you keep going back. Like that says a lot about who you are.
That I'm not smart. I don't know, right?
that you don't give up.
She's dedicated.
That you don't give up.
Yeah, I like that.
I mean, I love that. Yeah, you don't give up. And there was someone else we had on here that I don't think it was Barkley Fall Classic. It was a different race. They've ran like 3 or 4 times.
Well, I think it was Mr. Abernathy trying to do
one
of her races.
Yes.
To do that over and over again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I think that's cool that you have, there are race directors that, you're running other race director races, but also that you found a race that challenges you so much that you're like, oh, hell no, I got this. Like, I'm going to do this one day.
Yep. And I don't know if I'm ever going to finish it. I really, especially last year. I mean, what was it? 20 out of like 400 some people. Like, as soon as I saw that map, I was like, there's no way, but whatever. Like, I'm going for it, because what else is there to do at this point? But last year was the first time, or I guess this year was the first time that I really was like, okay, a marathon finish is like, that's doable. I could do that. And so I think my strategy for next year is going to be just to focus on get the marathon. If something crazy happens and the whole finish is within reach, go for it. Absolutely. But just kind of almost taking it out of the equation and being like, all right, you got still a DNF, but at least you got that consolation prize of a marathon finish. So
how far did you make it this year?
Oh man, this year I did a stupid, and I was looking at the map, and I thought I basically got cutoffs not mixed up, but I thought I had to be somewhere, and I was like, this is completely unrealistic. And so I'd kind of like had a picnic at the top of Rat Jaw before going down, and text my husband and was like, I just have to come down Rat Jaw, and then I'll see you at the prison and I'll be done. Like, there's no way I'm going to make this out and back up and make the decision point and whatever. So in my mind, I was like, cool, this has been honestly a great day. I felt really good. Like, I was very much at peace with it. And then I get to the bottom, and my husband was like, that's not how it works. Like, you have time to go out and back and get the marathon finish. You have like 3 hours or whatever. So I went over and asked Laz, and he's like, yeah. And I was just like, shit. And I like ran off. And I made it to, you had to do an out and back on Meth Lab and Testicle Spectacle. And I made it to, I made it out, but I didn't make it back. And the best part about that is where I've DNF'd every single time.
Well, at least you're consistent.
Yeah.
Right. I said, next year I am going to pay somebody to sit over there and be like, you have to go on. Like, you can't
How long was this picnic?
Like, I don't know, in my brain, like 3 minutes, but it was probably more like 20 minutes, you know?
And how far did you miss the cutoffs by?
Well, I just dropped at that point. But if I would have came back, I would have been right on cutoff, probably. It would have been within minutes. Just kind of doing math in my head, because it's harder. The going out is harder than the coming back, because you have more of an uphill on the way out. So I would have just like slid the whole way back to the prison, basically. But yeah,
you know what I love is the fact that she's got Southern States 200 on here that she's already signed up for.
Yeah, she's ready to go.
Is that your first 200-mile attempt?
It is. And my only 100 is like a super flat looped course in upstate South Carolina. So, I just, it sounded like a good time. So,
yeah.
I mean,
good.
It's point to point on the Pinhoti. It doesn't get any better than that.
No.
Right? I mean, if I'm going to do a 200, I want a journey. I don't necessarily want to do loops. I did look at some other 200s, and when it came down to it, I just kind of was like, I want to go on an adventure,
Mm-hmm.
If I was trying to get like a really solid time or something like that, maybe a looped option would be good. But I was like, I just want to see some stuff, I want to be out there for the whole 100 hours. eating my snacks, sleeping on the ground, crying, you know.
So we had Ashley on like 2 weeks ago, Ashley Itherburn.
Yeah, I was listening to her as I did parking garage stairs the other day, and I was like, "Ooh, I gotta go find her older episode and listen to that
I was
one."
gonna say if you go back and listen to her previous one, she talks about Southern States in there quite a bit.
Okay, perfect.
She finished 3rd overall.
Dang,
Southern States.
that's awesome.
Yeah, so I think she finished right behind Corey Waltering.
She's a baller. She's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
she was good.
I was listening to that in the parking garage, and I was like,
I mean, Kayla, you got plenty
of
of time. That could be you.
I know.
That could be you. Turn the training intensity up.
So you do your elevation on parking lot steps?
Pretty much. Parking garage stairs. There's a bridge right by the parking garage. So my coach has me do like bridge repeats and then parking garage repeats and then bridge repeats again. Stair mill at the gym, incline treadmill at the gym, all the not really fun stuff. And then I try to get to the mountains at least once or twice a month. I don't know if y'all are familiar with Table Rock in South Carolina. I know there's one in North Carolina too. But the one in South Carolina is super gnarly. And so it's only about 4 hours from here. So I try to get up there and just spend like all day just going up and down stuff. And
so your closest mountains is 4 hours?
Mm-hmm. I mean, like the closest really good ones. Crowder's might be a little closer. That might be like 3.5, like where Richard from Dirty Wolf does all his stuff. But I don't know. Table Rock is so much more technical I just like doing that because then it makes everything else seem really easy. Like even at the Fall Classic this year, when we were doing the on trail stuff, I was kind of like, this isn't even as bad as Table Rock, So I'm like, I want to do like the worst stuff possible so that everything else is kind of like rainbows and sunshine,
If you're going to drive 4 hours, you might as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
That's like going for a race.
That is.
I know. Well, I'll just go there and camp and just spend like a day or two and then come back to civilization. But yeah.
I love it.
So none of the races that you put on have any kind of elevation?
No, it does. I will say I loved Richard's episode when he said Hellhole had like 20 feet of gain for the whole 100-miler. I don't know what it is, but it's more than 20 feet. But yeah, I mean, we're talking flat. Like, yes, there's changes like in the terrain of the trail. There's some bridges that maybe you got to go up a couple steps to get, but there is nothing that you're going to be like, I'm still going up this. Like that does not happen here in the Low Country. We're very much flat.
Flat and fast.
Okay.
Yep.
And hot.
Lots of sand. You got a lot of sand?
A little bit in spots. I would say it's more like hard packed and rooty. And then we've got like some fire roads that will be a little sandier, but it's still normally pretty hard packed. So not a ton of like fluffy sand.
Well, I got to ask you one more race question before we get into race directing. And maybe it's the exact same answer. What is the hardest race that you've done and why?
So part of me wants to say Barkley Fall Classic, but I honestly think that when I did the Swamp Fox 100K, that was probably mentally the hardest race I had ever done. So before I took over the race and Eagle Endurance was putting it on, there were no aid stations at this race. So it was an out and back in the Francis Marion. There were water drops and you could have bags at the water drops. But other than that, like no aid at all. And the year I did it, he ended up having to change the date of the race kind of last minute. So a lot of people weren't able to make it. So it was me and one other guy doing the 100K. And for us, our course ran out like 31 miles and then we turned around. The 100-milers only ran out like 25 miles and came back and then did it again. So there were only 2 of us out there, like farther than anybody else. So it was just a very long alone day. I mean, I think maybe for 1 or 2 hours of that whole day, I had people with me. Other than that, it was just me in the woods by myself. And that was still pretty early on in my ultra running. So there were definitely some demons that day. And definitely a lot of like fueling mistakes made. I got lost. I think when I added it up, I ran an extra 7 miles. I was like running in one direction. I'm like, wait, that lady was behind me before. Why am I going past her this way? And I was like, oh my God, I totally got turned around and added like 5 miles to the race. So yeah. And Chad, the race director at the time, was texting me. He's like, where are you? I'm like, I don't know. I hate you. I'm like, I'm coming. I'll be there at some point. Like, this is the worst. Yeah, it was bad. And I don't know if it's like this where y'all are in Tennessee, but like in the winter here, it's still so humid. And so it could be like, even this morning, it was like 49, but it felt so cold because it's so humid and so wet. And it was one of those sort of days. And so once the sun went down, I was so cold, and it took me longer than I thought to finish the race. And so like my warmer stuff was in one bag further away than I really needed it to be. So I get to this one water drop, and there was actually a guy there manning it, and he had a little fire going. So I like laid down by the fire, and I was like, I quit. This sucks, whatever. And he's like, well, what do you need? I'm like, I'm freezing. Like, I'm in like shorts and a tank top, and it's like 45 degrees. So he gave me a beanie, and he didn't have any gloves, but he did have his kids' socks from the trampoline park. That if you've ever been in one of those places, they have a very distinct smell. It's almost like bowling alley-ish, like sweaty feet and that cleaner stuff. So he gave me those. So I ran off with like these socks on my hands. And then I get 10 feet down the road and my headlamp dies. Like, it was literally a whatever could go wrong went wrong that day. But I did finish. So that's the important part.
I mean, you got to be proud of that.
Yeah.
I am. That was, Barkley Fall Classic is hard for sure, physically and mentally, but I don't know. That race that took my soul a little bit.
I'm not sure I could have put the socks on my hands.
It was so bad.
And then
if I would have smelled that, it would have been over. Like, I just couldn't. I can't do smells.
Yeah.
As you're running, your nose is dripping. You just wipe it. Oh,
yep.
yeah.
Yep, that happened several times for sure. Yeah, there was some gagging.
You're grateful and scared at the same time.
Right?
So since you took the race over, you made it so much easier now, right?
Yeah, there's aid stations and there's water drops and all sorts of good stuff.
So let's hear this story now. Like you've talked about it a little bit, but like how did race directing, where did the thought even come from, and how did you first get started?
Yeah, so there was never a thought. That was not on the bingo card for my life at all. I'm actually a registered dietitian by trade, and I work with runners on like race day fueling plans and things like that. And I was doing that, and that was fine. And then Chad, the guy who ran Eagle Endurance, put up this post on Facebook and was like, I've been doing this for a long time now. My parents are getting old. My kids are having babies. Like, it's just time for me to hang up my hat. And I was like, well, then, like, where do I go? What do I do? It's kind of this panic mode of, this is the only ultras here. Like, if this goes away, there's nothing. And so I had messaged him and I was like, I haven't even talked to my husband and I don't even know what I'm saying right now, but like, I'm interested in taking this over. So before you do anything crazy, just like keep that in the back of your mind. And in the meantime, 3 of my friends had reached out and were like, did you see Chad's post? They're like, you should do it. And I was like, what is happening? Like, this is not this is not a thing that we're doing. And so talked to my husband about it, and God bless that man. He will support all of my crazy ideas. And he was like, I mean, if you really want to do it, then let's do it. So, talked to Chad, met a couple of times, hashed some things out, and decided to go ahead and just kind of purchased the company from him. He kept the name because there were a few races that he was doing, I think 12 races. I'm like, that is too much because I still want to run stuff and I've got kids.
Yep.
So I ended up taking over 6 of those. I kind of picked my favorite ones. And so he kept his Eagle Endurance LLC just in case he wanted to do any of those races I didn't take. And then we just completely rebranded, like new name, new logo, new logos for all the races. We really kept the same routes. And I wanted to keep that same spirit, but I wanted to make it my own. You know, like I talked about Swamp Fox, and I mean, I'm the kind of person that will sign up for crazy stuff like that. That's like, there's no aid stations, come run 100K. Like, for whatever reason, that really hard, ridiculous, miserable sounding stuff appeals to me. But I think when I did my first Last Man Standing, I realized there's, I don't know, maybe 15 of us running this, and there were like 300 people running the 48 hours. So I was like, the people that kind of stuff appeals to is such a small percentage, you know? So I was like, I want to create an experience that anybody would feel, you know, comfortable walking into. Like, I don't want to put on scary races. I want to go run scary races, but I wanted to put on races that really were just welcoming to everybody, that anybody would read the description and be like, that's cool. You know, I want to go do that.
Yeah.
So that was kind of where we got started.
How did you come up with the name?
We threw around a couple different names, and I don't even remember what some of the other ones were. I was also looking at what other people in the area had done too, right? Because I think there was like a Low Country Ultras and a Palmetto something. So I was like, I wanted it to be different. And you know, we're the Palmetto state, and so I was like, oh, Palmetto Ultras, that's cool. So yeah, lots of kicking around different ideas.
I love it. I think you did a good job with the branding.
Yes.
And your logos and stuff. I think it's great.
Thanks.
I was curious where Palmetto came from. That makes so much sense now.
Yeah.
Palmettos everywhere in South Carolina.
Oh my gosh. Everywhere.
What was your first event and how did it go?
My first event was Frozen. And that one, like you guys said, I did the 50 miler at that one. So, and all the races that I did take over were all races that I had ran. So I felt like, okay, I kind of have an idea of, you know, what's going on and what to expect. That one, I was super nervous because I was like, I literally don't know what I'm doing, right? Like, I've ran races before, but like, I have no clue. And Chad was super helpful. He kind of walked me through some stuff. But yeah, I was super nervous. So we kept the cap like really low. Like, I think we maybe only had 50 or 60 people because I was like, I would rather break even or lose money on this race than like open it up to a bunch of people and it be a disaster. And I'm like, because that's it, right? Like, you get one shot. People come to that first race you put on, and if it's terrible, nobody's going to come back. So we kept it small. Things went really well, other than 75% of the course was ankle to knee deep water. Other than that, it was smooth sailing. Oh man.
So is that a real swamp that you're running through there, or is it just low water?
It is, but normally, like, that's that race, you know, that we talked about earlier. Normally there's like a 4-mile section where, you know, your feet are going to get wet. And luckily it's at the end. So I always tell people, I'm like, if you're doing multiple loops, you know, bring a change of shoes or a change of socks, because you're only going to have wet feet for just that very end part. But this was, I mean, within the first quarter mile, like, unavoidable, like, feet soaking wet. Like, you couldn't go around it because it was in the forest too. Like, it was being from everywhere. We had I think 2 really bad storms leading up to that. And then Friday night, we had like a thunderstorm the night before the race. So it was just, it was one of those things where you're like, I stood up to do my pre-race briefing. I'm like, all right, y'all, your feet are going to get wet. You have 2 choices. You can be pissed off about it, or you can just pretend you're like a 5-year-old splashing around in the puddles and have fun with it. But everybody's feet are getting wet. Like, end of story. Don't try to avoid it. You're going to fail. I've been out there. Your feet are not safe from the water. But everybody had so much fun. And I think, kind of just, put that expectation out there from the beginning. Like, hey, this is what it is, like, you get to pick how you look at it. But yeah, logistically, everything went really well. Like you said, no big hiccups, except that it was a little bit of swimming.
It just gives it a little bit more appeal for the next year.
Yeah. Well, and that's like when it came time to do it the following year, I put up a picture of somebody in like knee-deep water, and I was like, the course can't be worse than last year. It was like my tagline for 2025.
And was it cold during that time, or was it like,
that weekend, first weekend was not that bad, honestly. I want to say it got up into like probably the 60s during the day. So it luckily wasn't super, super cold. 2025, we had a freak ice storm. So there was like ice in the forest. So I'm a little terrified of 2026, but also inside, like kind of excited to see what natural disaster is going to get us this year.
We completely understand that. Yeah. So it's the weather is, depending on what months, it can just be complete wreck or everything is perfect. And it happens like once out of every 3 or 4 times it's perfect. The other 3, it's like, whatever.
Oh, yeah. If you get 2 good races back to back, you're like, oh, this third one is going to be messed up.
Oh, yeah. Right? Yeah. You know it's coming.
You cannot have a perfect year of those storms and no rain.
No, I feel like the races that we put on in the Francis Marion, like they just have their own ecosystem. Like the races everywhere else are like pretty normal, but I don't know, that Francis Marion it's like its own little thing. And it does, like, people will ask about the trail conditions and the weather. And I'm like, I can tell you all that you want right now, but the trail's going to do what the trail's going to do. Like, you can't, it's the swamp. It's got its own personality. Like, it doesn't matter.
What is the favorite race, your most favorite race you direct?
Probably our newest one, Cannonball Run. So that one is an hourly race. So this coming year, we're just doing 34-hour and a last man standing. Last year we did 6, 12, 24, 34, and the last man standing. But it's about an hour and a half outside of Charleston. So it's kind of like, if you're from Charleston and you're going to it, you might as well just stay the whole weekend. Like, kind of a little far to just do 6 hours. So we changed that for next year, but the place we have it is just really cool. It's called Broxton Bridge Plantation, and it's set up for camping. So there's like RV hookups, really nice bathhouse. Like, the woman in charge of cleaning that thing was in there like every hour. Like, it was always spotless, and everybody there was so nice. And it's a nice mix of like different kind of trails. Some of that like fire road type stuff, some of the dreaded mowed grass, and then like your typical kind of East Coast trails. But I don't know. I love that property. The Eagle Endurance, who I bought the races from, actually did another race out there, but I think it was like a half marathon and a 50K. And I wasn't going to have a race out there because I did it and I was like, it wasn't my favorite. And the owners actually reached out and they're like, hey, we really want you to come out and have a race out here. And so I started thinking about it and I was like, I just think this property is built for like a whole weekend thing, like an hourly sort of race, do a last man standing. And so I wasn't really sure what to expect this year when we did it, but it was awesome. I mean, probably, like I said, probably my favorite race that we do. I love the property. I love the vibe, and last man standings are my favorite. I've only done 2 of them. But I love them. So that one's
Now,
my favorite.
what is the distance on the last man standing?
I want to say it's like 3.3 maybe.
Now, is it every
The
hour?
winner of the last man standing gets an engraved cannonball with the race logo on it. So
That's cool.
Pretty cool.
And then the other distance, it looks like, is 34 hours.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Now, and I see a picture of a belt buckle. So I'm guessing if they get 100 miles, they get a belt buckle.
Yep.
That's a good looking belt buckle,
It is
too.
a good looking belt buckle.
I know.
That's a good design. Did you do that?
No, I have no artistic talents. I'm really good at recognizing what I'm good at and what I'm not good at.
Hey, that's great. That's a strength.
Yeah, so we've got a local artist, Marcus Cripps. He does all of our designs for us, and he's great because I'm normally like, I don't really know what I want, but here's like some pictures of the place and do something cool. So he does really good stuff with not a lot of guidance from me, which I'm sure can be a pain in the butt. But yeah, I'm not very artistically talented. So
He probably loves that because you let him be creative.
Yeah.
He gets freedom.
Yeah, I hope so.
So is the 34-hour runners and the last man standing runners running the same course? Oh, that's fun. Yeah, I like that. That's a good idea.
So how long did the last man standing go this year?
I want to say we were somewhere around 40 to 50 miles. It was like close to when the 6 and 12-hour people started the next morning. So yeah, I think it was somewhere around 45, 50 miles. And a lot of them were people who had never done a last man standing before, which was kind of my hope for it. You know, the way I marketed it, I was like, this is not, you don't have to be elite. Like, you just have to be really consistent, really stubborn, and be able to troubleshoot and like go on your way. And so I really like pushed it as that. I was like, this is not like a feeder into bigs or anything like that. Like, this is just, hey, come try it out. And I also let them, when they dropped, if they wanted to keep going, I let them hop into the 34-hour race as well. So that it was like, because that was another big thing. You know, I had done some polling on Instagram and was like, why are people not doing this? This is such a fun format. And a lot of them were like, well, I don't want to train for, thinking I'm going to run 100 and then, everybody get out at like 50 miles and that's all I've done. Or, I get into a tough spot and I just can't troubleshoot quick enough. And I get eliminated before the kind of that goal mileage or whatever. So I was like, I'm taking all your BS excuses out of this. And now I've created a last man standing that really anybody should feel comfortable stepping up to the starting line of. So
that's a good new concept.
Yeah, definitely brought a lot of, I think only one person had actually done a last man standing before. Everybody, it was a whole new format for. So that was really cool to see some people step up and just not be afraid to go after it.
Yeah.
So do you have any new races coming out for 2026 or 2027?
Maybe.
to be determined, undisclosed.
Don't let my husband listen to this podcast.
This sounds like an ECA answer right here.
Yep. There are some talks with some people, but nothing's been set in stone yet. So that's all we'll say about it for now.
So how many you took over 6 races?
Mm-hmm. Yep, we took over 6. I dropped one of them and then added one. So we're still sitting at 6 because there was one in November, December, and January. And that was just too much. Like we would be putting on a race this weekend and I'm like, I feel like I just dug out of the hole from the one in November, right? And then you've got another one early January. And with it being the holidays and, I've got kids and whatever. So I'm like, we're not doing that one anymore in December, which was the first one that I did, that last chance one. So that hurt a little bit to drop it. But I was like, sanity wise, I know my limits. And that was too much. It was also 20 degrees that morning. So I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that.
Well, tell us real quick, tell us all your races, and that way the listeners know. And and tell, if you want to go through your races real quick and just what the, attraction is or what the mileage is, so they know and they can look it up.
Yeah, so first up in January, we have Frozen H3, so Frozen Hellhole 100. That one kind of came out of when Chad did Hellhole in June. There were a lot of people that were like, it's too hot. So he claims that he created this one for all the people that whined about doing Hellhole in the summer. Because it's the same course, the same race. It's just potentially cold in January for that one. That one also kicks off what we're calling the Swamp Series. So that race, Swamp Fox, and Hellhole are the 3 races that we put on that go through the Francis Marion National Forest. And so if you sign up for all 3, we keep track of the mileage. And then whoever has the most miles gets crowned the Swamp King and the Swamp Queen. And there will be crowns. And you can guarantee there'll be Swamp Fabulous for sure. So that one kicks us off in January. And then we have Swamp Fox after that in March. That one is probably my second favorite because I really would love to do that race like as the 100-miler, but obviously I can't do that anymore.
Yep.
I tried to do it by myself and like a nor'easter rolled in, so that did not work out very well. So that one's in March. It's a long out and back. So if you're doing the 100-miler, you're essentially going out like 52 miles and then heading back. And there are aid stations this time. Big bonus there. We'll feed you. And then we go into April, and that's when we have Cannonball Run, the one we just talked about. So newer race for us, but super awesome having it on private property because we kind of, you just have a little more free reign. You don't have to worry about people messing with your flagging or anything like that. So that's always, that's nice.
Permits.
Yes. So that's April, and then Hellhole in June. So same race as Frozen, except usually, yes, it's super, super hot and humid. I would say that race, for whatever reason, tends to attract a lot of like 20-year-old guys. I don't know why, but I'm like, there's a lot of shirtless, backwards hats happening out there in June. And then, all right, so that's June. And then we have Dirt Dash in September. That one I call our normie race because it only goes up to a marathon. So you get a lot of road runners that come out and it's like their first trail experience. So I love that one. It's definitely the one we chatted a little bit before we hopped on about how sometimes runners aren't so good at reading. And so that one sometimes can drive me a little nuts because you get a lot of these questions that are like, oh man, like they have no idea this is going to be so bad, because if you're a road runner, you show up and there's people every couple hundred yards and there's water and there's just so much stuff. And it did used to bother me a little bit. And then I was like, no, like, this is my opportunity to like show them the ropes, right? Because we all started at some point on the trails and we were all clueless and we didn't know what a runner's guide was. Because when you show up to do a road 5K, you show up and do a road 5K. Like you don't need to know anything else except I'm going to go run on the road and it's going to be very obvious where I need to go. So I like that one a lot because it gives me an opportunity to really show people like, trail running isn't scary, right? Like road running is scary. We're over here just eating candy, wandering around the woods, like no
having
one
a party.
Yeah.
Right?
Different vibe. Totally different vibe.
Yeah. They're like, there's quesadillas and candy and Coke. Like, And people always ask for bananas, and I'm at that race, and I'm like, we are an anti-banana establishment. Like, we are not, we are not a road race. You will never find a banana. And it's kind of become a thing. I don't know why, but so that one's in September, and then we have Hallucination in November to kind of close out the year. That's the one we just put on a couple weeks ago. That one's an hourly race, 6, 12, 24, 34 hours. And that one is another, like, I want everyone to come stay the whole weekend. Like, there's hookups for RVs, there's a bathroom, there's showers, there's all the stuff. So kind of luxuries for us dirt neck trail runners to have that stuff.
That was what, Kimberly Jackson? Hey, did she run your race?
Who was it?
I think his name is it Kimberly Jackson?
I don't know. That sounds familiar.
I can't remember her name. She does Vol State.
I think that was a picture of her and Laz.
Yeah, she was her and Laz in the picture.
Oh, Karen Jackson.
Karen Jackson. There.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, she did not do it this year. That's an older picture. That was from back in the day. But yeah, she's done it. Laz has shown up in years past. So yeah, a lot of good stuff. So we kind of have one like almost every other month, so it's nice and spread out throughout the year. I really didn't want to have a jam-packed schedule because I still want to go run stuff, and I want our runners to go explore all the other awesome races that are out there too. So yeah, we kept it to 6, and I feel like that's a pretty good number.
I mean, that's still a lot.
It is still a lot.
I mean, we put on a few more than that, and it's a lot.
It's a lot.
And we time 5Ks, and we time 2 big 5Ks that we do more than time. We race direct those.
Yeah.
And it's just, when you're doing like sometimes 2 a month, it's really hard. So, at least every other month, it gives you the time you need to still be a runner.
Yeah.
If there weren't so many of us, I mean, I'm pretty sure we'd just go crazy.
No, I don't think one person could do what we do.
No.
With having we got 5 or 6 of us, so we can spread out, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, right? When you get to a certain point, you have to bring more people on. So that's kind of like my thinking. I'm like, I don't necessarily want to grow a whole lot. Like, I don't want our races to have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, but I would love our races to get more popular and like sell out quicker, because we've sold out a lot of our races. Like, I would rather have that where it's like almost like Yeti, right? You're like, I gotta be online at whatever o'clock because this shit's gonna sell out in like 3 minutes. Like, I would rather have that in a smaller community than be like, oh, we have 600 spots to fill. Because I love knowing people when they come up to packet pickup and like being able to cheer people on by name, and I don't want to ever lose that part of it. So I don't necessarily want to be ginormous, but selling out quick would be cool.
Well, it sure solves a lot of problems when you sell out quick.
Yes.
You can go ahead and buy the shirts. You can go ahead and order all your medals. You can do all that stuff. So that does make a big difference.
Oh my gosh, for sure.
But we just leave ours open.
Yeah. Same.
We're like, I think we can hold more. Let's get the only one that really, really sells out is Gone Loco.
Yeah.
And that's just because we can't park anybody else.
Well, Gone Loco and the Fort. Those two will. Like, the one that we could get like 400 in was the dirt circuit.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, we got 200 this year. But
nice.
We can get it. We can get a lot more in there. But Gone Loco and the Fort, it's like 150, 160.
Yeah.
We got so big at the Fort, they won't even let us do it during one of their events now. We used to do it during their big event, the Garrison, and it kind of overwhelmed them the last time because we had almost 200 runners, and then they had, I think, 200 or 300 show up for the Garrison.
Wow.
And they come up to us the next time we applied for the permit, and they're like, we can't do it no more.
Yeah.
Y'all are going to have to move the race.
They're like, the event has overgrown the people that we have working here, and we can't do the Garrison reenactment and maintain the race.
Yeah.
We're like, hey, we understand.
I mean, when your race is in August, though, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's hot as hell either weekend you pick, so it's fine.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
But I mean, the thing that you're doing that is right, though, is you're putting on a good event, because we have heard you're putting on a good event.
Oh, thanks.
So that's great. You're consistent, you're a good race director, and you're a runner. So, I mean, as long as you're consistent with putting these races on, you are going to eventually get to the point where you're selling out. I mean, that's the fun part. It's just being consistent.
Yeah.
There's a few races that are just, they're always going to like be the bigger races because they're a promise, like Yeti.
Yep.
I mean, Jason started that race as a fat ass race years ago. And I mean, it's sold out basically since it became a race. And I'm glad he doesn't do the lottery thing anymore. I never cared for that. I love the way that it's done now. I think the lottery thing was, for most race directors, was just, it was a little much. People got upset. I love, you got 5 minutes, log in, try to get it. If you don't get it, that's on you. But, I mean, there's only a few races that truly like are that big. But, if you can sell your race out in the first month or two, that's really what makes the difference. If you can do that. And I think, like we've said, we hear you're putting on a great race, and, for the listeners, definitely go check out one of Kayla's races. So give her an opportunity. I'm eyeing this Cannonball run. I think I would enjoy that. Last man standing.
I'm looking at. Emmanuel went up last year and tried to do Swamp Fox, and he DNF'd it. He's on our racing team.
Emmanuel.
Oh my gosh, no. He had to be like extracted from a ditch. Like
Emmanuel will give his all on anything he does, and he will run a 6.5 minute pace doing so.
We watched him doing, what was it, the Monster 300? Like, there was a group of us who were very invested in, he probably doesn't know this now, he's gonna listen and be like, oh my god. But we were like, he DNF Swamp Fox, what is he doing? So we were watching him, tracking him on the 300, texting each other with updates. We're he's still out there. Oh my God.
And he finished it. That's what's crazy. And then he doesn't finish Moab 240 again.
Great.
So he's like, I'm going back. I'm going back.
Yep. He's
the year that he did the Cherokee was the first time he was going to right after Moab, and he didn't finish Cherokee 130K either.
Yeah.
And then he goes out, puts all this hard training in for Arizona, and then he finishes it. And then 2 weeks after that, he goes down to Chattanooga at a locomotion and runs 106 miles on a 24 hours. And then he comes to the Cherokee and absolutely crushes the 130K. His training was great.
I mean, I guess so. That's a lot of miles.
He did good. He turned it around this year.
It was a lot of miles.
I love that he is part of your team. That just made my day. He was you always have a favorite story from the race, and he was definitely our favorite story.
He is the nicest guy ever too. He's so sweet.
He was. He came out that next morning and got breakfast, and then he was he'd text me or emailed me at 6 o'clock or something after the race was over, and he's like, can I get my drop bag? I'm like, dude, I'm in my bed. I'm home, but I got your shoes. Oh, I will mail them to you. I was like, I don't know if you noticed, but nobody is left in the parking lot.
So Emmanuel also has this this great trick that he does.
It's not a trick.
During these 24-hour races.
It's a magic show.
He will be running, and then all of a sudden, there's no Emmanuel. He's gone.
Man.
He will go to his car and sleep.
So Kayla, we met Emmanuel. I met him at a race that we eventually took over, which is the dirt circuit. But I met him there. I was racing it before we took it over. And this dude, Emmanuel, takes off. And I mean, he basically leads half the race. He's never ran an ultra. And he's doing a 12-hour race. Mm-hmm. And he led this race for 10 hours. And I finally caught him at like hour 11 because he cramped up. He didn't even know what electrolytes were. He had no idea. He hadn't been. So I gave him a whole bottle of salt, and then it was just funny. But he started following us after that, and then he comes out, and this is part of the magic show. He comes out to Gone Loco and signs up for the 11-mile race. I think it was 11.
33.
Was it 33?
Yeah, he went out.
Well, he never even made it to the first turnaround. So, like, what's funny is he takes off.
Yeah.
At like a 6:30, 7-minute pace.
Yeah, because I was running 8s.
I'm talking smoking the entire field.
Yep.
And I'm like, whoa. And I knew what he did at Dirt Circuit. So I was like, okay, this dude's been training. He's ready. Yeah. He never came back. It was a 4.5 mile out or 5.5 mile out and 5.5 back. He got to the end and had someone come pick him up. He never told us he dropped. He never. Finally, I called and I was like, Emmanuel, where are you at? Oh, I'm on my way home. I'm like,
oh my God.
I'm like, Emmanuel, I was like, you've got to tell somebody. I was like, you can't just leave a race, man. We've been out here looking for you. He's like, oh, I'm sorry.
Well,
that is amazing.
And then he did it at the Fort this year. There's another guy on our team that puts on this race called Johnston Woods, 24-hour race. Everybody's running, and then Emmanuel's gone. He's in his car asleep, just out.
I love that he came and ran one of your races though.
He needs to come back. He
does. Emmanuel, we are calling you out.
Yes.
I'll get him back.
Redemption now. Redemption, Emmanuel. If you got to do this and Moab 240 in 2026.
We will still come pick you up if you end up in a ditch on a fire.
That way they can follow you on Moab 240.
Yeah. We're invested in your journey. You don't know this.
What exactly happened to him at the race?
So I start getting phone calls from other runners because I don't think he had a phone on him, if I'm remembering correctly. And they were like, oh, there's a guy like taking a nap on the side of the trail. And I'm like, okay, like not concerned, right? And then a second phone call, guys taking a nap. Okay, like maybe the level of concern like getting a little higher, but still like this is normal. And then a guy that comes out and runs a bunch of our races calls and he's like, this guy does not look so good. And he's trying to describe where he's at. I'm like, okay, I know what you're talking about. So I drop a pin for my husband and I was like, I think this is where he's at. So just go here and see if you can find him. And the runner that had called was like, he is close to a fire road, but he is on the trail. So like, you might have to walk in and help him come out. But I guess he made it. When my husband got there, he calls me and he's like, I don't see him anywhere, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't know, man, just like walk around, go down the trail a little bit. He's got to be around there somewhere. Cause he, just from where the aid stations were, I'm like, he's there somewhere. So he like looks over and just sees the shadow in the ditch. And he's like, there he is. Like he was there the whole time, just like laying in this ditch. And he like picks him up and puts him in the truck. And I can't even remember if it was he didn't have warm enough stuff or if it was like an injury that like had flared up and he just wasn't able to like move well. I cannot remember what it was, but man, that was our favorite. Like he made the race for me. I was like, wow, we've never done that before. So that's the first.
Crushing souls out there.
Yep.
I'll have to ask him about the whole details.
We're gonna give him hell is what we're gonna do.
I can't wait to hear it too.
more about giving him hell of getting him to go back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we don't care that he DNF'd it. I want to hear the story of why, but more importantly, we want him to go back and go back and try it again.
He's got to go back, and he has to take his phone because it's now required gear. So after that first year, I was like, all right, we're having
I'm really shocked he didn't have his phone.
Yeah, he
always usually has his earbuds.
Maybe it wasn't him, but I feel like it was. I don't know.
Well, I just looked and he did DNF. So
yeah,
I mean,
yeah, he definitely DNF'd. That's a fact.
Well, Kayla, I got to ask you a question before we turn it over to the listener
Yeah.
questions. And this is a question we ask everybody on this podcast. And I'm guessing you know what I'm about to ask you, but why do you run? And, that's the thing that you race direct. And, race directing is kind of rewarding because you're helping people do something that they normally wouldn't have a chance to do. And you get to see them do it and, push through barriers. And it's a lot of work, but it's super rewarding. But running, on the other hand, that's self-inflicted pain, and like you've DNF Barkley like 3 times now, and you're already signed up again.
Yeah.
Why do you continue to torture yourself? Like, what keeps you going? Why do you continue to run?
I think a couple things. Especially trail running, I just love being in the woods. Like I was out there this morning and I was like, I was in such a good mood the rest of the day. It kind of reminds me of just being a little kid. I don't take running very seriously. Like I don't care if I'm the fastest or the slowest or the whatever. I just truly love being out there in the woods. So there's just something, even though, yes, it can be torture, there's something really comforting to me about it. And then on the other hand, I love seeing what I'm capable of. Like I'm signed up for a 200 miler. That is terrifying, but I'm also so excited to just be out there for 4 days. And it's kind of like you finish a race and you're like, well, I did that and I didn't die and I was okay. So what else can I do? I thought that was really bad and that was really tough, but I did it. And so like, I must be capable of more. And I want to find out what that is. I don't want to leave it. I don't want to leave it on the table because there has to be a limit somewhere, right? Like there has to be a point where you're like, okay, I've gone too far. And I don't want to go through life not knowing that I didn't try to find that limit, I guess.
Love it. That's a great answer. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. All right, Mr. Williams. Get the beard ready for these questions. There we go.
All right. My first question is, what is your biggest race that you have planned for 2026?
Yeah, that's definitely going to be Southern States. I don't think we're going any farther than that in 2026.
That's a great one. We're going to be following you on that one.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
I'll make sure we tell Emmanuel.
I don't know if anybody on our team's doing that this year. April Romeo finished it. She's on our race team. She finished it this year. But I don't know if anybody else has signed up.
Tell them to sign up.
Well, I mean, we're getting ready to redo the team, so we'll see who all it is.
Yeah.
All right. How many runners do you help with nutrition?
It varies. Sometimes just depending on how much time I throw into promoting it. But I would say over the course of, what are we going on? I think this will be year 4. I mean, I've definitely helped hundreds of runners at this point, but at like one time, I will not take on more than 3 or 4, like one-on-one type of clients. But I do a lot of like one-off race day nutrition plans. So if someone's like, hey, I'm running Southern States 200 and I need a plan for that, I can do, that's not something that takes me a ton of time. So I can do a lot of those at one time. But it's a lot of fun because you're telling people like how much candy and pierogies to eat, like that's a pretty cool job.
Yeah.
Pierogies. I love pierogies.
I love pierogies too.
Oh, they're the best.
I had them for my race that I did a couple weeks ago and never got to them.
Oh man.
Never made it to them. All right.
You make it to a lot of stuff.
I didn't make it to a lot of stuff during that race.
He looked like Emmanuel.
Oh, I was rough.
Oh no.
It is rough. And it's my Achilles.
If there would have been a ditch, he would have laid in it.
I would have sit down.
I mean, it's cozy in there,
I'd called somebody to come get me.
Yeah, he'd have been covered up with his with his beard. We'd have never even saw him.
Been no problem.
Good camouflage.
All right. My next question is, what is your favorite aid station food during a race?
Oh man. I love a good Coke. Like there is just nothing like it to bring you back to life. Like you could be in a ditch, right? And if someone rolls up with a Coke, you're like, what's up? I'm ready. Let's do it. You know, it's easy to get down. That taste, the coldness of it if it's like really hot out, and just it's like rocket fuel, man. I love it.
Do you like it flat or carbonated?
I don't even care. I will drink it however it is handed to
I
me.
have to have it. I don't have to, but I prefer it carbonated.
I do too.
I do not like flat Coke.
I do not like flat Coke.
Yeah.
I'll do it though if that's all they have.
I've had a couple races where you get there and they'll have it sitting out, and you sip on, you're like, oh no.
I don't know, man. Yeah, there's something about like the carbonated Coke and burping in an Ultra.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like it actually makes your stomach feel better. I'm like, yeah,
releases all of it.
Oh, yeah.
And
You need
like,
to get
it makes
that
me
out.
bloated. I'm like, well, you're not drinking enough Coke.
At that race, I went through a 2-liter of Coke.
Man.
Because it would come out as fast
Is this
as it was
when you
going
were
in.
puking?
Yeah,
Coke?
it came out as fast as
it worked
went in.
well.
Yeah.
Until it didn't.
It came in and then it went out.
That was more than a burp, sir.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what you needed.
No, I needed new legs that day and a new stomach. All right. The next one is, what is your favorite food that you want to put at an aid station during your races?
Ooh, we do quesadillas at every race, but there's always like a special flavor quesadilla. So
I like
at
this.
Hallucination, because it was in November, we did a Thanksgiving quesadilla. So it was turkey, stuffing, cranberry sauce, and cheese.
In a quesadilla?
In a quesadilla.
And people were eating it?
Yeah.
I love it.
We ran out.
I love it.
Yeah. Frozen, I think, is smash burger quesadillas. And then, every race has like its own special quesadilla flavor. So that's probably my favorite.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That is cool. See, there's something everybody should look forward to at the aid stations
the quesadillas, man.
She's came a long way from no aid station.
Right. Well, my husband is a chef, and he's the one that mans the grill. So, I mean, quesadillas certainly isn't like a gourmet food, but he gets into it. So
it's pretty gourmet when you're out there on trail running. That is sous chef top.
Yeah.
All right. What is your favorite trail that you get to run on?
Definitely the Swamp Fox passage. So it's part of the Palmetto Trail, which runs from the coast over here over to the mountains in South Carolina. And it is like 47-ish miles long. So like I said, I want to run the whole thing out and back. But that's going to take some finagling because I can't do it during a race, but it's just, I don't know. It's just my favorite. That's where I was this morning. It's just pretty, it's quiet, and I just love being out there.
And that's called the Palmetto Trail?
Palmetto Trail, yep.
Cool. All right, let's see. My last question is, name a favorite moment during a race.
That one's tough. I honestly think probably that first ultra in Ohio, that running with my Nomies and just coming towards the end and realizing like this is something. Like this is so different than road racing. You know, my friend over there did like a lot of triathlons and she's like, I want to be done. And I'm like, I don't want to go home. Like that moment was just, I feel like super defining, not just in running, but just in my life. Like it changed a lot. And just opened up a whole new world that I was like, I didn't even know this was a thing. You know, obviously I showed up without trekking poles. So yeah, that's probably one of my favorites.
No trekking poles and road shoes.
But I finished.
That's right. I love it. Well, Kayla, thank you so much for taking the time to be on here, sharing your races, sharing your running story, by the way. Most importantly, like that's what we, that's what we love, is getting to share a little bit of your story and how you became a race director. So sounds like you were kind of thrown into it trial by fire, which is sometimes the best way to learn.
You learn quick.
Worked out well.
Yeah, I was gonna say and now you've grown into 6 ultras, so that's pretty dang cool, or at least
Yeah.
6 events. I don't know if they're all ultras, but all pretty close, I would
Yeah.
imagine.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, keep doing what you're doing. It's fun. Me and Matt will have to try to make it out there to do one of your events here soon. We would
Yeah,
love,
come out
love
with
to come see you.
Emmanuel.
Yeah, we'll bring Emmanuel with us.
Yeah,
Emmanuel.
y'all can crew him.
No, we're running. We're not
No,
crewing
we don't crew.
Emmanuel.
All right, you can run too. I'll pick all of y'all up in a ditch if I have to.
That's right.
Oh, man.
just keep 2 liters of Coke away from Matt.
No, I need them
Yes, no Coke
sometimes.
for you.
If it's in the cold, I'll be all right. I
Right.
get the heat really just messes me
Well,
up.
don't come to Hellhole then.
I like running in the heat. I just
Yeah.
don't do well in the heat.
Yeah, I hear you.
It's like
well,
saying I
thanks for
love
having
to
me
swim,
out,
but you
y'all.
can't
It's been awesome.
swim.
I love the water. I just can't swim. Okay, love it.
Oh,
jeez.
man.
Well, Kayla,
Well-
do you have any questions for us?
I don't know. I guess if you were to come run any of my races, which one is most appealing to you? And which one is least appealing?
I wouldn't say any of them are my least appealing. I do like the Cannonball run. I like the fact that it's a newer race that you've done, and I like the last man standing format. So
Yeah, the format's
I think
good.
that would be kind of
Cannonball.
fun because it's not a normal
Mm-hmm.
last man standing, and I think that would keep my attention. I've burnt myself out on regular backyards, and I just haven't found the love back for them yet. But the other last man standing seems to be okay, like mid-state, LC,
Yeah.
and yours may be one. So I would love to try that at some point. But also, I mean, I think Hellhole would be fun. I would like
It's like
to
an
try that.
iconic one for sure. I don't know. That one probably sells out earlier than any of the other ones. And
Yeah.
I'm like, y'all are insane. Like, it is so hot. Like, it's
People
a tough one.
love a good challenge,
They do.
Kayla.
I guess it's like me in the Fall Classic, You're like, even my friends, that live here locally, they'll send me their screenshot and be like, I can't believe I signed up to do this thing again. I'm like, yep, I'll be there.
Well, I will say that the names of the events are very catchy. Like Hallucination, Hellhole, and then Swamp
Yeah.
Fox. Those are very catchy names.
Yeah.
So
Chad did a
that's
good job naming them, so I
Yeah.
can't take credit for those, but yeah, they're fun.
Yeah.
Well, and we won't ask you again if you're coming out with a new race. We'll make sure we edit that part out so your husband doesn't hear it. But honestly, thank you so much. It's been so much fun getting to learn more about you. So thank you for jumping on the podcast, and we hope to see you in the near future.
Thanks for having me. It's been fun.
Absolutely.